So I'm going to pick this up at the point where the day where, they, quote unquote, had shown up to steal mine and my family's home. And, I'm not the same person as I was then. A lot of it for the better, but there is some not for the better. But I'd say regarding this is pretty much all of it's been for the better. But anyway, if I only knew then what I know now, as the saying goes. Anyway, so, and again, I'm one of those people, there's people that just talk, and there's people that, do and then talk. Well, I'm kind of one of those that do and just do it. It comes up later or whatever. But very strange. I had found what I had found and was very disturbed by it. I mean, literally, you can imagine what everybody has come to know now. I had already been through, discovered, and been chased like a guinea pig back then many, many times. I stopped counting at 13 on the attempts. I'll just leave it at that. On me, anyway. But in other words, what I'm trying to say is what people are just realizing now, this is like approximately 7 years or so ago, I had already been through, to hell and back, basically. Through the ringer, was being already chased around and all this stuff, and it was, literally like a live game hunt every day and night, and I could see them doing it. It was just very obvious. But anyway, that part of it, I guess we'll get to, because that comes after this day. But I want to get on with this. So the day I did that, the next day is when they showed up and had taken they literally pretty much took my life. I mean, they took our family's home. They took and or as a result of this one day. I mean, they took our home, all of our belongings, which were ultimately thrown out in the front yard, but they know that everybody's going to come by and take everything they want, which was just, almost all the valuable stuff. It was just awful, and, they had an agenda. It was clear what they wanted. They just wanted me out of my own home, my own family's home. And there were so many of you can just go down each list. There's many lists that they violated, not just the constitutional rights. It's, if you want to play that legalese game or not, there's like one after the other that they had violated. It was just, Anyway, I'll get into a lot of this stuff later, but so they basically had, they lied to me right from the start. They had asked me to say, could you say, hello, excuse me, could you step out here for just a second? And that was the longest second, must be in history, because I'm still waiting on that second to be up. I didn't have any shoes on. I was dead tired. I was about to take a shower, and I had already filed something already at this point, because I can't let too much out of the bag right now, because I guess this, I don't know, for the better part, who knows what would come of it, but I was pretty comfortable that this was going to be based on what I had with me, the end of it, or at least for a while, because, or I hadn't planned on going anywhere that day, because they were completely in the wrong. But I was never allowed back in the house once I stepped outside. They would not let me talk, or very little actually, just enough to answer their question. And it was, one of those pigeonholed deals where it was, yes or no, do you blah, 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 this, that terrible word, understand, which if you don't comprehend what that means, you can get yourself into some heavy situations. But anyway, they wouldn't let me back in the house after that. And it was absolutely just horrible. Now, to my knowledge, it takes, I think, maybe one official, like a police or a sheriff or whatever, and then another guy, like, if they're planning on taking anything with them or whatever. At the max, there may be maybe the officer guy's assistant or deputy or whatever. All right, I was doing my best to count the vehicles out there, and I'm talking all of them, and it was a quiet approach. It was a very quiet approach, because there was no sirens whatsoever. I think my count reached around 20, it was between 23 and 25 as I counted, as I was trying to disseminate, whose was whose, and separate the sheriffs from the local police, from the detectives' cars, from the, and I could tell that, who had just come, because you know how your street outlay is, and when there's nobody parks on the street, there's nobody parks on the street. So it's very easy to see who they are. Anyway, by the time I got to, it was between, it was like 23 or 24, maybe 25, I was forced to start, answering their questions. I was trying to count the vehicles. Now, this included sheriff, local police, detectives, whatever, SWAT, ambulance, whatever, handyman, moving vehicles or whatever. K9, I think I saw one or two of those. I mean, you would think it was, I don't know, and this one I don't really have a whole lot of faith in either, but I don't know how many members of a SEAL team, as they're called, would be called to go in and execute something of a, if Osama bin Laden, as they say, were to be true. But I don't know how many members or whatever they say was involved in that actual thing, but I don't remember. Now, this is the units now, the vehicles, 20, let's say between 23 and 25. So around 24 or so. Now, there was much more personnel there than there were vehicles, because some rode together. So if you can just put your imagination together, you'll get the number of people. That's the only way that these people would ever engage me. I had requested meeting after meeting. I'm like, what in the heck are you guys doing? You know, because they, as you've already heard, were just following, surveilling, blah, blah. And it was after they knew that I knew, you know, what had been taking place with this, you know, refi scam and who was responsible for it, where it led back up to and through and way and beyond, and I mean way beyond. That's when permanent surveillance took place, and it never and has never left. Anyway, so when they asked me to step out there, I don't want to give too much away here, but there was two things in particular. I'll give this away. I'll give you this one. This may be something they know or not know, but there was two things that they did right then, at that moment, that pretty much confirmed everything for me, especially what I was kind of voicing to my, you know, well, not everybody. There was a couple of people, let's say, that I knew of what was going on, and it confirmed every bit of it on those two things. And I was mad as hell because I knew it right then and there that they were guilty of just literally trouncing on constitutional rights, on trouncing on state rights, trouncing on humanitarian rights. And I did get my jabs in as far as, you know, all right, well, you know, they just, let me put it this way, because I don't want to give the farm away, but they shouldn't have done it that day. At least that day. They should not, or any other day, now that, with what I know now, but they were not supposed to have been able to do it that day, and they did it anyway. And I was kidnapped that day. I was forced to go to a hospital, of all places. And this is just the start, people. I said, I don't know what you guys are doing, but I'm fine. I'm just a little ticked because you guys are literally committing armed robbery here. This is grand theft. I mean, at its finest, you know. And I'm telling you, that's no good right there. And just let me get what I need to get. Well, that was part of the strategy. Whenever they tell you, you know, I'm sorry, we were just told to get this done, to execute this. They were pointing to their something. I'm going to leave that blank. And it wasn't worth 2 cents, people. We were told just to execute this, and that's it. People, let me give you a heads up here. Whenever you hear, I was told blah, 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 we were told blah, 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 whether it be by a news reporter or by any kind of official, that is what I call a non-present, unofficial, official cop-out. Because for some reason, people just give up when they say that, and they know it. I'm sorry, we were just told, you know, to come execute this, you know. Don't accept that, and I didn't. Anyway, I gotta cut this short here, but I'll be back here to continue this on in part 2 here.